Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm recording this at pretty much 2:30 in the morning. I'm pretty much gonna pull an all-nighter to watch all these wrestling shows and review all of them. Well, not all of them, but like most of them. Um, because I've been very behind on just wrestling lately, whether it's Impact or any other wrestling company. So I'm trying to get caught up so that way I can like do the other things I want to do. I also want to get my sleep schedule under control, and I think the best way to do that is to stay up all night and then go to bed like real early and then get up like the next day. So hopefully that will work, but that's besides the point. I'm trying to be quiet too because there's people sleeping right above me. But I'm here to give you guys my review of Impact Wrestling, Bash at the Brewery 2, and this was one of the Impact Plus specials that they typically do. I guess they piled the weekend up with just a ton of wrestling shows from Impact. It was pretty much the Impact weekend because they had this show, then the Twitch special, which might be the last one. Uh, More on that in a future video, and then they have How to Kill, like that Sunday, which was a week from tomorrow. Um, So they were really trying to pile this up, which I don't necessarily know if that's the best thing for the wrestlers. I think, you should have focus on um, your main pay-per-view. Um, but I did enjoy this show. I just think, that the pay-per-view should be the main focus. You should let your wrestlers kind of rest up, maybe do some appearances and stuff. Um, but it is something for, to you know, get on the network. So kind of weird how they do that. I mean, I personally think that they should just live put the pay-per-view on Impact Plus, but that didn't happen because I thought that was what was going to happen. Because I thought I could, you know, use Impact Plus to watch the pay-per-views, but I was mistaken. And it hasn't been added yet. I thought it'd get added later, but I guess not. But that's besides that. Let's get right into this review. So, this is Bash at the Brewery 2. This pretty much took place at a brewery, which was kind of cool. It was kind of that is one thing. Even though a lot of people say Impact's low rent, I do kind of like that Impact kind of has like the unique feel of shows. Like we had, like one of the shows take place like in a high school gym, so it's places that we don't really see shows happen. Um, and I think it was kind of cool that it was at a brewery. This is the second one. I don't know when they had the first one. Maybe I'll review that at some point. Um, but yeah, this was fun. We had D'Lo Brown and Josh Matthews on commentary for this show. I thought D'Lo Brown did fairly well. I really wish they would just replace Don Callis, honestly, because D'Lo Brown, Scott D'Amore are so much better than him that they would be nice replacements. Um, Even though D'Lo Brown really didn't play the heel role, I think if he played it more, just anybody but Don Callis, please. Um, it showed the introduction, kind of going through all the matches that were going to be on the show. Um, we had the first match. It was Wentz versus Ace Austin. Um, this match was pretty good. This was definitely more of a showcase for Ace Austin than to Wentz. Wentz gets the advantage at first, but then Ace Austin takes out his leg, and he picks apart the leg of Wentz. He hits a wicked headlock driver onto him. He gets him into a wicked uh, reverse figure four, but then eventually Wentz gets the ropes. Wentz starts to make a comeback. He hits a suicide dive through the ropes. He hits a headlock driver that like spiked Ace Austin's head upside down, which was pretty cool. But then eventually he misses a knee into the corner, and then Ace Austin hits the fold for the win, which is a blockbuster. Um, and Ace Austin wins. Makes sense for Ace Austin to win since he's got a title defense, at Hard to Kill against which one, so it makes sense you would want to put him over. So I didn't really mind that too much. This match was pretty good. I gave it 3.25. The only thing that took me out of it is you knew Ace Austin was gonna win because he has a title match coming up. So obviously there's no way he's gonna lose. I did like afterwards how he kicked the leg of Wentz to kind of send a message to Trey. So I thought that was good. Um, they did do a little bit of a makeover of the championships. Like now the Impact logo is a red logo versus how it was before. Really not much of a difference, but I do like the red logos better. So there you go. Like I said, this match was 3.25. It was pretty good. Then OVE's backstage, and they talk about how they're just going to pretty much destroy uh, Team Tessa in the main event elimination tag later on in the show. So that's pretty good. I do think the backstage segments improved because that was one criticism I had with the Impact Plus specials that they typically do. Maybe they had the high tech technology this time, considering the fact that they had a pay per view coming up, so they figured why not use this stuff. Um, because I noticed in the backstage segments. I mean, they were pre-taped, but you know what I mean. Then we had the next match. It was an OCW Women's Championship match. OCW Women's Champion Kara Hogan versus Christy James. This match was fine, but it just really felt like a filler match. You know when a match feels like a filler when the commentators are hyping up other things and other than talking about the match. They were talking about the main event of this show. They were talking about um, you know matches that Hard to Kill. So they really didn't pay much attention to it. Um, this is kind of one of those like little criticisms I have. I really think that they need to do something to kind of introduce us to the people that we typically don't see that aren't on the roster, like Christy James, because while it probably popped the live crowd, because I know they typically pull the people from the local indie promotions, you need to do it for people watching at home because not a lot of people are going to know who this person is. Um, she's clearly a little bit green. She really didn't do a whole lot in this match. Kerry Hogan pretty much took it. She ended up winning. I really don't remember off the top of my head how she won. I really don't remember much about this match. It really felt like filler. So I want to give it 2.5. It was really just there. It wasn't anything bad, but it was really just there. Then Kerry Hogan did win and retain her title. So there you go. I didn't even know she was the champion, but whatever. Then Jimmy Jacobs interviews Taya Valkyrie and Johnny Bravo, and pretty much they hype up the Brewery Brawl that they're going to have, which is pretty much a street fight with Jordan Grace, and pretty much insinuate that they're going to use Johnny Bravo as a plan. I thought this was a good interview here. Then we had the next match. It was an OCW Championship match. OCW Champion Falaba versus Congo Khan with Boom Boom Brandon Oliver and Maddie Wendowski ringside. I thought this was a fairly okay big man match. The thing that made this too is I actually knew who both competitors were, because obviously I see Falaba on the shows episodically, and I know who Congo Khan is, obviously. I remember not liking him very much. He's still not a very good wrestler, but Congo Khan I remember from when I was watching Impact back in 2017. They both have a stalemate with each other, and they try to do like some test of strength, some chops and such. Falaba hits a pretty cool high crossbody onto Congo Khan. Eventually, he tries to go for a suicide dive on the outside. and he boom boom. Brandon Oliver grabs him by the leg, and then eventually um, Falaba goes to attack him, but he puts Matty Wendowski in front of him, and Matty Wendowski slaps him, and then um, he runs after her and Boom Boom Brandon Oliver, but then Congo Khan takes his head off with a clothesline. He throws him into the post, and then he continues dominating him, but then Falaba, he continues hitting Falaba, and Falaba no-sells it and starts him on a comeback. He tries to go for a Samoan drop, but, uh, you know, um, Falaba falls on him, but then but then he runs a comeback. At one point, when Congo Khan was dominating him, Matty Wendowski hits an axe kick through the ropes. That was pretty cool. Um, then Falaba mounts a comeback. He goes for the Samoan drop, but Brandon Oliver attacks him while the referee is distracted by Matty Wendowski, and eventually Falaba hits the Samoan drop, covers him, and retains his championship. This was pretty decent. I give it 2 3/4. It was fine. Um, then Jimmy Jacobs interviews Rich Swann, Willie Mack, Brian Cage, and Tessa Blanchard, and they talk about how they're gonna pretty much just gonna beat the crap out of OVE. Um, then we had Rhino versus Mahab Ali Shira. Um, this match really also was just filler. Really didn't serve much of a purpose. I was pretty disappointed with this match. I thought that it would be something special, and I feel like it's all Mahab Ali Shira. He's just really not that good of a wrestler. I thought Rhino did fine here. Um, he's on the verge of winning the match with the Gore, but then he gets attacked by Moose, so he wins by DQ, and that was pretty much that. I did like the finish when Moose came out and attacked him because it built to their match at Hard to Kill. But other than that, really nothing special here. It's 2 stars. Uh, then we had the next match. It was Rob Van Dam with Katie Forbes versus Eddie Edwards with Kenny, the kendo stick. I thought this match was very good. I really like Rob Van Dam's new heel character. I think it's really working for him. It's the first time really in not in WWE, in professional wrestling that he's been a heel, like full on heel. Because I know in WWE, that's what I was gonna say. He was kind of a tweener when he came in with the alliance angle, but he really wasn't full on heel. So I think this is even better. He makes out with Katie Forbes before the match starts, and then he makes out with Kenny. Um, him and Eddie Edwards go at it. Rob Van Dam's just really not interested in this, but Eddie Edwards just dominates him. He throws him, and eventually Katie Forbes gets into his face, and RVD attacks him. He throws him into the post, and he's gonna do the he crotches him too on the guardrail, and he teases like he's gonna do a dive, but instead he runs out to the other side of the ring and just makes out with Katie Forbes, which allows Eddie Edwards to recover and hit a suicide dive on him. Eventually RVD starts dominating him. He hits a wicked standing kick. He hits the Rolling Thunder, and then kisses Katie Forbes afterwards. D'Lo Brown says on commentary, and that's Thunder and Lightning. He is gonna hit the drop kick while Eddie Edwards is in a trio roll position. Eddie goes to grab a steel chair, so he's gonna hit the Van Daminator, but him and Katie Forbes are under there, and it's implied that they're having sex. And then eventually Eddie Edwards recovers, and he hits a suicide dive onto RVD, and Eddie Edwards starts dominating him. He hits a blue thunder bomb, but RVD kicks out. Katie Forbes tries to hand in the steel chair, but then Ashley, I forget how you say her name, but no, Alicia Edwards attacks her, and she gets sent to the back. And then RVD hits the Van Daminator while the referee's not looking, using the steel chair on Eddie Edwards, covers him and gets the win. I was okay with Rob Van Dam going over here. He recently just turned heel. You really need to establish some wins. and I think this really didn't make Eddie Edwards look all that weak since RVD had to cheat. So I thought this was fine. I thought the match was very good. I gave it 3 and 3/4 stars. Um, Next we had the North versus Trey and Dez. I thought this match was very good. This might be my favorite match of the whole show. It's a toss up between that and the main event. Um, and the North in the beginning of the matchup just out wrestling and out smoting Trey and Dez. They dominate Trey for a long time, which I thought was pretty good. And eventually Dez gets the hot tag, and the match just spills out of control. You see suicide dives, you see forearm smashes and kicks just back and forth. Um, you see like um, Dez and Trey do a slingshot super kick and then into a double stomp. That was cool. Um, you see the North um, hit a double spine buster, and then a slingshot into a super kick. Um, I really like the North. I think they are a nice old school tag team, and yeah, they're just really good. I kind of like how Ethan Page is kind of like that arrogant, outsmart and smart guy in the group who can do all these moves, but meanwhile, you have Josh Alexander, who's kind of the muscle of the faction, or the tag team, anyways. Um, they hit the superplex or the suplex into the spine buster, but um, Trey kicks out. Trey hits a poison Rana, and he kicks out. He does hit the double stomp his finish, but um, Josh Alexander kicks out, or it gets broken up by Ethan Page. Um, then eventually Ethan Page hits a super kick on Dez, and they hit the like bone and hammer into the spine buster for the win, and the North win, which makes sense because the tag team champions, you shouldn't be dropping them out, and they're being built up to defend their titles against Rich Swann and Willie Mack, so you want to keep them looking strong. And I think it made sense for Dez to take the fall since Trey has an X Division title match coming up. So I thought this match was very good. I feel like no one really came off looking bad here. The right guy took the fall, so I thought the match was very good. 3 and 3/4 stars. I honestly think too. You know, um, yeah, I think. So I made a mistake. Um, the RVD Eddie Edwards match wasn't 3 and 3/4. It was 3 1/4. Sorry, I have these written down. Um, and then the North and Trey and versus Trey and Dez is 3 and 3/4. I made a mistake. Um, but yeah, I really like the North as a tag team. I think they're an underrated tag team because I feel like not a lot of people really watch Impact, so they don't really see any of their stuff. But I think if more people would tune into Impact, they would be considered a very good tag team. Um, then we had the Brewery Brawl. It was Taya Valkyrie with Johnny Bravo versus Jordan Grace. So I really like what they did here because they originally had Hard to Kill advertised um, this match for that show, but obviously they ended up throwing an ODB into it, so it became a three-way. Um, and I feel like too, like people are still gonna get their money's worth because if you pay for the Impact Plus, you can still see the match. I like that they made it a Brewery Brawl, kind of tying in the theme of the pay-per-view, or the Impact Plus special, anyways. So the referee gets told that the match isn't going to start until Johnny Bravo, leaves ringside. So he's upset about it and does. And Tyle Valkyrie is just frozen in fear. And Jordan Grace dominates the beginning portions of this matchup. She eventually grabs a trash can, a a cooking sheet and several steel chairs. She hits Taya Valkyrie with a trash can, and she just destroys her with the cooking sheet. Eventually, Taya Valkyrie is on the outside, and she takes an extension cord and ties her feet and pulls her, and she falls onto the ring apron. And Taya Valkyrie just crushes Jordan Grace for a while. She hits her with a cooking sheet, she hits her with a chair, she throws her into the post, and she looked very vicious. This might be the best match I've ever seen her have, but I haven't seen a lot of Taya Valkyrie matches. I've seen a few here and there, but this was probably my favorite one. Um, she goes to hit a double knees into like a stack of steel chairs that they had on the outside. But Jordan Grace moves out of the way. Jordan Grace throws just a ton of chairs at her. Um, and then she throws him into the guardrail. Um, Eventually, Taya Valkyrie throws a beer in her face, and they get back into the ring. Jordan Grace hits the Grace driver, but Taya Valkyrie kicks out. Taya Valkyrie actually hits a double knees, and she had a steel chair and a trash can right into the vagina of Jordan Grace. I thought that was great. Um, and then she goes for the roll to Von Holla, but Jordan Grace counters it. And then Johnny Bravo comes back out, and he's continuously interfering in the match. And eventually, he inadvertently causes Jordan Grace to hit Taya Valkyrie in the head with a chair, and she hits the Grace driver for the win. Makes sense for Jordan Grace to win. This builds momentum up for her to face, for the triple threat match, because I think Taya Valkyrie's winning, so I feel like this is perfectly fine. And then you can, continue this feud after Hard to Kill, because you can have her say, if she pins ODB, you didn't pin me, you didn't beat me one on one. Why don't we face off? So I thought that was great. And yeah, this match is very good. I thought it was 3 3/4 stars. I like that they used the stipulation, and I like the finish. Um, I am sick and tired of the commentators saying though that I haven't seen Taya Valkyrie get pinned in a while, even though at Impact she's been pinned recently a lot, so that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, but whatever. So then we had the main event. It was Team OVE. It was a 4-on-4 elimination tag team match. It was Team OVE versus Team Tessa. Team OVE um, consists of captained by Sami Callihan, Madman Fulton, and the Christs, and Team Tessa consists of captained by Tessa Blanchard, Witch Swan, Willie Mack, and Brian Cage. Um, yeah, this was a very good match here. They just kind of start the feel each other out process with everybody. Eventually, Sami Callihan comes in and he wants Tessa, and this is just a trap. OVE just attacks all attack Tessa Blanchard, and the match spills into chaos. Then Rich Swann takes his turn, and I should mention too, Dave Christ had a new haircut, and that got brought up in the backstage segment. So I don't know how long he's had it for, because they tape a lot of their Impact shows, and this is the first live one in a while. So I don't know how long he's had the new haircut for. But OVE target the leg of Rich Swann. Jake Christ hits a senton from the middle turnbuckle onto the leg of Rich Swann, and this injures his leg, and he's eliminated from the match. Which I thought, was a cool elimination. So then Tessa comes in, and OVE get the heat on Tessa for a long time. Eventually, she makes the hot tag to Brian Cage, and he starts just running through everybody. Everybody starts to hit really cool dives on each other, which was cool. The match is just spilling into chaos. Willie Mack hits a stunner on people. Brian Cage hits a discus clothesline. Tessa Blanchard hits a lung blower or the I think it's called the Magnum from the top turnbuckle. Sami Callihan hits the Cactus Special on Willie Mack, and Sami Callihan and Tessa Blanchard fight to the back, so they get counted out, so they're eliminated. And Brian Cage hits the Drill Claw onto Dave Christ, eliminating him. And Jake Christ and Madman Fulton hit a Power Slam neckbreaker combination, and then Madman Fulton hits a double knees right to the head off the middle turnbuckle on Brian Cage and eliminates him. So it's down to Willie Mack versus Jake Christ and Madman Fulton. It's 2-on-1. They beat him down for a bit, and eventually Willie Mack hits the stunner onto Jake Christ and eliminates him, and then Madman Fulton hits his finish where it's a spinning power slam into an end of days for the win. And Madman Fulton is the sole survivor and wins it for Team OVE, which makes sense. You want to build him up for his pay-per-view match against Ken Shamrock at Hard to Kill. The only thing I didn't like about this match is it just kind of felt rushed towards the end. You felt like, I don't really like the elimination matches where the eliminations kind of happen, quickly. I kind of like them to be spread out. That's just my take on it. The match, though, still was very good. It was 3 3/4 stars. I think that they kind of rushed the finish, so that's kind of why I really, I kind of cut it down a quarter star. I still think this match was the match of the night. I really liked how they protected Tessa Blanchard and Sami Callihan by having them get counted out, and they really sold their personal rivalry by having them, want to get their hands on each other. So, yeah, that was good stuff. And yeah, that was Bash at the Brewery 2. I thought it was a good show. It was easy to watch. I think one flaw about these specials is they don't really feel important. They just kind of do these, and if you miss them, you really don't miss much. And I feel like they need to change that, because I feel like they didn't really talk about anything that happened at No Surrender, Turning Point. And so I feel like, they really should do that. Maybe do title changes more often and stuff, and, have... They just need to make these feel important. They need to hype them up on Impact too, because, I feel like you have this Impact Network, Impact Plus, and I feel like they should transition into kind of having that be the new pay-per-view model. I understand Impact kind of needs the money, though. It's not like it's the WWE Network where the WWE can function other ways with money-wise. So that's just my take on it, though. I still thought, though, this was a good show. It definitely was like a nice hype to want you to watch, because they did do some hype packages for How to Kill. So if I was to rate this show, I'm going to give it a B-. I'm going to give it an 80 out of 100. It was a good show. I thought definitely delivered from the last match on. So it's easy to watch. It's only like 2.5 hours, which is nice. So that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you guys for watching. I'm going to be coming back and making some more reviews. Please make sure you guys like, comment, and share this video so people will watch it. Make sure you guys subscribe to this channel for more content and click on the bell, so that way every time I upload a video, you guys get the notifications for it. And make sure you guys do the same thing for my CM Brothers No One Talking Hater channel. So that's pretty much it, guys. Talk to you later.